Welcome to another episode of the Protein Bros podcast. I am your host, Jeff Wasserman. With me, as always, is my co-host, Kyle Combs.
What's going on, guys?
And today, we have some awesome guests on here. Some of the very first friends we made here in Kansas City, owners of Identity Chiropractic, Eric and Alyssa Phillips. Say hi, guys.
Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah.
Welcome on.
First time having chiropractors on. You guys are a first.
So if you guys are not familiar, the basis of the Protein Bros podcast is to bring on people who've taken their love and passion for fitness, wellness, health, and turned it into an actual full-time career. It is extremely difficult to take that passion and turn it into some kind of a full-time career, especially with longevity. And we've been friends with Eric and Alyssa since they were in school, and it's just been incredible to watch their maturation and turn into a thriving business from being a student to being a husband and wife, and being able to turn that into a business together is something you just don't see, especially because we're, I think, 4 years in now, basically close to, on your guys' business, and they're still happily married. Yeah. So working together side by side is their only coworkers.
Yeah, that's an accomplishment.
You guys are your only coworkers, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Minus the dogs. But
How many dogs get to come to work every day?
3.
They're all 3 inside of Identity every day?
Yes.
All of them. So I know my spot on the totem pole.
You're fourth.
That's awesome. What are the names of your dogs for the listeners? They need to know, because Luke, whenever you do the YouTube on this, I need you to make the pictures because they're all awesome.
Yeah, I'll send you some really good pictures of them too. So we have Bogey. He is a golden retriever. He's 15 years old. Still
He
kicking.
just turned 15, right?
He did.
Love that guy.
He's in great shape too. We have Charlie. He's a little morky, and he is 9 years old. And then Oliver, our young pup, golden retriever. He is 2.5 years old.
That's awesome.
Where'd you guys get the golden retriever? I love golden retrievers. Well, you got 2, but where'd you get the newest one?
I'll throw him a shout out. So it's a company out of Columbia, Missouri. No fault at that, but they Hay Creek Acres Goldens is what it is. But they do an incredible job with him. So he's a great dog.
Yeah, my wife's been slowly trying to talk me into getting a second dog, and I'm like, the only way that I'm going to get a second dog if it's a golden retriever, because like we were talking about earlier, Air Bud was such an inspiration for me when I was a child.
And the brave little toaster.
And, hey, come on, dude.
Sold
Don't
Kyle
need the
down the river
people to
with
know
that
the
one.
Brave Little Toaster. If you didn't watch the Brave Little Toaster when you were a kid, then you missed
I believe
out.
there was a sequel to it too, Kyle. Like there might have been a second one that I need to show Clara and Maddie.
You would only know if there was a sequel to the Brave Little Toaster.
Why would I?
Because you know more about trivia and random useless information than anybody I know.
You were the one that brought up Brave Little Toaster, and now I'm getting chastised.
It's a standalone, is what I'm saying. It's a standalone product. I don't think it needs to be a sequel.
I guess you're right. I guess you should tell that to Air Bud, the other movie you just referenced. It had 17 sequels and prequels.
I've never seen any of them.
There was
but
a
the
golden
original.
receiver where he was literally a freaking football player.
This is true.
Out there catching balls with his mouth. They had to obviously deflate the footballs a little bit, because no dog's catching a ball.
Even as a child, there's only so much that I can believe. Like dog playing basketball, I can believe that. Dog playing football, no. Too much for me.
They put
you can't tackle a dog.
Little shoes on him too, which is the best part. When he walked in with, he had the little Jordans on, incredible.
What was you guys' favorite movies as a kid?
Oh gosh, I don't know. We were talking about this earlier. I think Toy Story's got to be one of them. It's got to be.
Toy Story is obviously up there with the best of the best. It came out when I was 4 or 5, and I got to go to Disney World, which, by the way, the last time I went, I was, I believe, 5 or 6 years old. And I got to eat.
Still want to go back.
I haven't been back. I mean, dude, I think it'll be full circle when I have kids of my own, but I'm not against Disney, dude. I love Disney. And when I went to Pizza Planet. They had a Pizza Planet at Disney World, and it might have been obviously the memory still serves me well to this day. It was incredible. They had the claw game with the little aliens in it.
I was literally about to ask if you played.
I absolutely did, and I didn't get one. But dude, as a kid, you thought Pizza Planet would have been the coolest place to go when you watched Toy Story 1, and so I got to go, and that's why Disney's so great, man. It makes obviously what you see in the movies come true. It's pretty crazy.
And I still want to go at 31.
Yeah, I would love to go to Pizza Planet.
Let's go.
Alyssa, what was your favorite?
I don't know.
This is an important question. You know what I'm saying? You better think about it.
Mine was The Sandlot. Not even close to being a cartoon. You disgusted by The Sandlot?
That wasn't a favorite movie.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
It's
you weren't
okay.
you weren't a boy. I get it. It was
I'm
like
trying to think of
it's
what
like,
my-
it would have been the equivalent of me saying Babysitter's Club was my favorite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Remember Babysitter's Club?
Yep.
Oh,
You
yeah.
liked Pocahontas. I see.
That's the first movie that
Yeah.
I went to in theaters. That
Yeah.
was the first thing that popped in my head, actually.
I
So.
think about like what my
Gotta go with
sister
it now.
liked it when we were
Was it-
kids.
Is
and I
that
would just
song Blue Horn Moon or is it Blue Corn Moon? We've always had this argument. When you're singing along
it's
with
Blue Corn Moon for sure.
it's Blue Corn Moon, but people are like, it's Blue Horn Moon. I'm like, it's corn. They're Native Americans.
I
What do
think
you-
it would actually be maize then.
Alyssa, you're allowed to talk on this too.
I know. I'm just thinking. I'm singing the song in my head.
Have you ever heard the wolf cry from the what?
Guys, we are going to
Blue
talk
Corn
about
Moon.
business at some point during this podcast, but as for right now, this is also an important question. What's your favorite Christmas movie? You can't think about
Elf.
your Elf is your favorite? That was quick.
She's like, I've already watched it 6 times. Don't talk to me like that. Don't be a rookie. How many times have you watched Elf so far?
I actually haven't watched it at all this year yet.
It's been Home Alone this year.
Yep.
Home Alone's probably mine.
Home Alone's
Number
pretty
one
good.
or number 2?
Number one.
Number one.
Ooh, we've had
I do-
a long argument about Home Alone versus Home Alone 1 and
number
2.
2 is pretty dope.
See,
is.
I do like number 2, but how many times can you lose your kid?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's number
like-
3. Number 3, no one likes.
Oh, yeah.
Number three
is
wasn't
like
even-
Terrible, too.
yeah.
It wasn't
like-
even Kevin McAllister at
but
number
no.
3.
But number 1, there was a little bit of mystery what was going to happen. Yeah, obviously it got left at Home Alone. But number 2, you're like, okay, it's going to happen again. But
Here-
the stunts and everything that happened, they were
Here's my
Top
thing with
tier.
2
Next level.
is that toy store that they had in 2. I mean, come on. Did you not
Duncan's
want
Toy Chest.
Duncan's Toy Chest?
Yeah, Duncan's Toy Chest. Let's go. I wanted to go there. That was like the
Would you
ultimate-
have picked the turtle doves or would you have picked something else on the tree? I obviously would have picked something else.
I'd have been like, I don't want this bullshit. Can I get a toy?
Yes.
He's like, Duncan, which remember it ended up being Duncan, the guy in the end, the old guy. He's like, let me make a suggestion. These 2 turtle doves. And I was like, that is so weak.
share with someone special.
Yeah. I was like, if my grandpa suggested 2 turtle doves, I'd be like, absolutely not. There's like G.I. Joes on this tree. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing here,
Turtle
man?
doves can't shoot anything, dude. I don't want them.
Yeah.
Let me give you these ceramic ornaments and see how long they last with a 10-year-old.
Oh my gosh. So guys, I don't know if you noticed that toy store was actually an FAO Schwartz in New York City, and unfortunately it's out of business. But I would have loved to go into that toy store just like Pete's Planet. That would have been crazy.
I always have thought that would be a cool business to start, would be a toy store, and you break open like a ton of toys, and it just becomes like a place where kids want to go and play toys, and
Try
you
out
know,
all the toys.
yeah.
Didn't they? I mean, wasn't that like most toy stores?
No.
Are you talking
Come
about
on, dude.
breaking them out in the store?
Yeah, I'm talking about like you want to ride the cars, you want to play with GI Joes,
Yeah, not
you want to
KB
do.
toys, but yeah, I'm with you on that. Like there should at least be like a little like play area where you can try out toys.
I mean, everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Customer experience.
Yes.
You know.
I wonder how many toys like sucked though when you opened them, so they were like, "Don't do that."
Yeah,
just
and
go
also
with
should,
another
here this is just my opinion because I'm a parent. Is you should have also in the back of the store a bar where you can go chill as the the
So
parents
it's like
go
bar
into the-
cave, but
Yeah.
like for kids.
for sure, and you
There
let
you
your
go.
kids just run around and like play with toys and stuff, and
So
then
it's like tumble drum or
you don't
or
have
like,
to parent them. You know, you
Yeah.
just
Chuck
kinda,
E. Cheese, kind of.
Disassociate
Does Chuck E. Cheese
them.
does Chuck E. Cheese serve booze? Anybody know?
I don't
No
know. What's that meme where they talk about Chuck E. Cheese? It was a rat. They have like the pizza that's disgusting, and
It was saying like, oh, like let's take our kids to a place where it's like a bunch of people that are like basically like horrendous, like just scary monsters. Like a giant rat playing the guitar.
Did you
it
guys
doesn't
go
make any
to
sense.
Chuck E. Cheese as kids?
We didn't have it.
Like he was a giant rat. Like that's freaking
Yes.
weird to think about. He wasn't a mouse.
We had Wildy Coyote.
Yeah, but they had a great band. All of
Yeah.
them together.
Dude. Hey,
All of them together.
There's like an arcade bar that actually has. Okay, this is messed up. I have a video of it somewhere. But on Martini Corner downtown, there was an arcade bar that opened up where somebody paid the money to get the entire like band from a Chuck E. Cheese or one of those places, like 5 animatronic giant animals playing like the piano, the guitar, like the saxophone, and then they would literally have them play like T-Pain Apple Bottom Jeans, and they were all playing it. And I have video of it. It was incredible. Like they were syncing all their mouths opening, like turning their heads and playing the instruments to like new rap. So like the DJ would have that thing going the whole night. It was wild.
I think that's a good marketing technique for Chuck E. Cheese right now because the kids don't care about the band. So you got to get the parents interested somehow. So play some of those songs for them the whole time.
Absolutely.
While they're eating pizza.
Anything nostalgia, sign me up. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I videoed it. I'll show you guys.
Chuck E. Cheese just got decimated where I'm from by Discovery Zone. Discovery Zone came in there. And
we had Discovery Zone as well.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Mm-hmm. I loved it. There was like a slide that was made out of like nothing but like, I don't know, like rolling wheels. Imagine like it's literally
rolling
just
pins.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, it was a whole slide based like that. They had like the giant.
You got your fingers caught in them.
Right. That's always a liability somewhere in those. Tumble Drum. Did you guys have those?
Nope.
Tumble Drum was just like a classic, like almost like a giant McDonald's like play place, but like on steroids. There was like 10 of them, and
all those places are where you
like
take your kids to build their immune system. Yep. If you're wanting to build a kid's immune system, you just go dump them in a ball pit somewhere, and it'll.
Have you guys ever been to a place where the ball pit got shut down because a kid took a dump in there?
That kid was Jeff.
No, that was at multiple parties where that happened. Where like they were
There's
like,
one common denominator. Exactly. You were there.
That's exactly what I was going to go with.
I would have peed, but I would never have pooped.
So 3 out of 4 of us that never happened, and every time it happened, you were there.
You didn't even have a tumble drum. You guys aren't even part of this conversation.
Oh god!
Never been to a ball pit that got shut down on kids' poop?
Nope.
Man, you guys never lived.
What about a bounce house?
Dude, never there either. Man, your turd's not hiding in there. Can you imagine how funny that would be? They're just jumping up.
Kids running out after.
No, but kids are still jumping, and all of a sudden, just like a baby Ruth just flying up in the air. Like, how funny that would have been. All right.
Oh my gosh.
So backs, you guys work on those. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, anyways, now that we're done talking about dumps and bounce houses.
So we met Eric and Alyssa. I want to say, was it in our store or was it like at World Gym maybe?
It's 2016.
It was before you guys opened.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was in store.
It was at the show. You were doing
Natural Southern States.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we were like, hey, we're coming to town. How did you hear about our company before we had ever met you?
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
So
I want to say maybe Justin Williams introduced us when we were at World Gym, and you guys were filming. You guys were a Fitstagram couple at the time. You were working on it. You guys had cameras.
I think we were working with a company where we had to do blogs and video posts and stuff like that at that time.
Yes. What was the name of that?
Health Host.
Health Host.
Health Host. Yeah.
Health Host. Is it in business today?
I don't think so. That you can still find the website. But
do you still have equitable shares in it?
Outstanding, yeah. But it's hard to pay those out when the income of the company
I'll
is
never
$0.
forget. Justin was like, "Yeah, man, they're giving us ownership," and he's like, "We'll just see how it goes." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, I went on the internet, like I signed up for it to support and all that. And I just remember thinking in my head, like, "Yeah, I think we all know where this is going." Everybody knew.
Why don't you guys?
Alyssa specifically that's laughing the hardest. Yeah.
Why don't you guys talk to us about your background as far as in fitness and what led you guys down the road of wanting to be chiropractors?
It's a great question, Kyle.
Okay, yeah, I'll let Alyssa go first. So
it was a pretty good question. It was second to my what's your favorite Christmas movie question.
My background in fitness.
Or what got you into chiropractic?
Okay. What got me into chiropractic was I was a freshman in college and I had hurt my neck and I couldn't turn my head. So I went to a chiropractor and he fixed my neck, but he had also talked to me about, asked me if I ever felt sick every day or if I had acid reflux or anything. And every day I'd puke at like 3 p.m. because I had severe acid reflux. And he had worked on my diaphragm, so just below my rib cage. And I didn't puke for like the next 4 days. And I came back and I was like, okay, so what'd you do? You fixed my neck, but I don't really care about that. And I didn't puke. So I learned how to release my diaphragm and like relax my stomach so that I wasn't puking every day. And I didn't have to be on like 4 medications because he was the 4th doctor I talked to about this. The first 3 all had prescribed me a ton of meds that anytime I took them, I'd puke more. And I didn't take anything with him, and it was just awesome that I was like, okay, well, you helped me. I'd like to do that for other people.
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously a profound thing, right? I mean, it was changed your life, literally.
Yep.
Wow. I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Eric?
So kind of going along with Kyle's question, I played sports all my life, struggled with some back pain growing up as I was getting taller, and then some ankle pain. Went to a chiropractor. She helped me a lot. I really liked the naturopathic way that she helped me instead of prescribing medication. And then I was always interested in health and wellness and helping people. I looked at osteopathic school. I looked at medical school. But kept coming back to the naturopathic way of helping people and really changing their life permanently instead of masking it or giving them something to...
Yeah, some kind of Band-Aid.
Yeah, as a Band-Aid. And the challenge of chiropractic really kind of interested me too, because when you don't have those resources to be able to help someone and say, hey, just take this muscle relaxant, you have to think outside the box and really, really assess how you can help them. And that challenge really interested me too.
Yeah, speaking about all the different avenues you were thinking about taking as far as helping people, it seems like more and more in America, people rush to the quick fix. It seems like people are always rushing to find the next drug that can help them or find the next surgery that can help them. I had a screwed up back. You guys obviously worked with me with my back for a long time. And, I'd talk to doctors that were like talking about fusions and stuff too early. Yeah. And it's like, I think that, what you guys do is great for basically being able to steer somebody away from that, instead of going the quick route, because, drugs and surgeries, there's unintended consequences that come with all that stuff. And a lot of people don't know it, especially general population. If you're not into fitness, when I talk to people that are general population, I'm like, you don't need to, that doesn't need to be what you do right away. Mm-hmm. You should be doing, you should take this route before you go down the road of like being on a drug that you're going to have to be on the rest of the life, or, taking a surgery that's going to be, change your physiology for the rest of your life. So I've always really admired what you guys did, what you guys have chosen to do and the help that you give people. What are you doing, dude?
Filling up my water. God damn.
So I know you've
I literally lost my train of thought like 4 times talking because Chef's
like, what should I do with this cup?
Give me my water.
So I know you had physical therapy too, and that seemed to help you a lot as well. I think that's the most important thing. Obviously, surgery and medications and drugs can be necessary in some instances, but I think the most important thing is like truly listen to someone, figuring out, getting a good, accurate diagnosis, and then giving them the skill set and teaching the skill set through your practice, whether it's physical therapy or chiropractic or massage therapy, but helping them learn their body and why they're having this problem, and then giving them the tools to kind of take care of themselves. That's the most important thing to us, and that's what physical therapy, a good chiropractor, does as well.
Yeah, I ended up, working with you and working with Aaron from Squat University. I just started to realize that like, I move like shit. And when you do that for a long time, then eventually you're going to have some kind of breakdown and you're not going to feel good.
For sure. And your problem is you're so strong and have done it so long that you can mask it for an extended period of time. And then when you do that, you're moving like shit, like you said. Yeah. It takes a lot to work back into moving efficiently and
so it kind of exacerbates the issue a bit.
Yeah. But as an athlete, you're really resilient. You get used to it and you can accommodate for that until you can't. And then that's when you end up with pain and you have to rework a lot.
And I honestly have a lot of questions for you guys with stuff like that, but I want to continue with your story and how you guys got open and so forth. And then I want to dive deeper into chiropractic practice and what makes you guys unique and kind of what you guys are working towards moving forward. But we go, you're at undergrad, you're at KU, yep. Is that right? Were you at Truman
State, yep.
Truman State University, right? And so once you guys got done with that, was home for you, Eric? Was that Kansas City before?
Yeah.
Are you from this area as well?
Yeah, I'm from Overland Park. I went to Blue Valley Northwest.
Okay.
And then just left for school and came back.
Awesome. Alyssa, what's your backstory?
I'm from Sioux City, Iowa.
Very cool.
And so I went to KU, and I didn't even know there was other options of chiropractic schools. And I was like, well, this one's close by, so I can just go here. And then, so I just chose to come here.
At Cleveland?
Yep.
Right? Is Cleveland affiliated with KU in any way?
No, not at all.
Gotcha. So we met you guys. You were both at Cleveland, and you guys actually met at Cleveland as well, right? Yeah. Wasn't it like day one or something crazy like that?
The second day. Okay. I'm not that quick.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because it's a good story. It was love at first sight.
For him.
I like when she tells the story. I get.
So day 2, he came into a classroom and made eye contact with me, and then sat down.
I think we got to pause for a second.
He immediately has to tell something.
Because first off, I do. Okay.
Yeah.
I was sitting at a table with this guy, Marcus Juracek. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He was in my class, and he was talking about all the girls that were there, and I was like, yeah, I know, like there's some okay looking girls, but I was like, that one right there, that's the one I'm going to talk to. And I specifically pointed to Alyssa. I don't know why I picked her out, but I did that day.
He doesn't know why he picked you out.
I really don't. Like, I just found her attractive, like drawn to her. But I was like not super serious until the second day, and there was a seat open next to her. So I was like, well, I mean, let's just try this out.
Time to shoot your shot. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to preface that.
Continue on.
No, you got it now.
Yeah.
So he sat down next to me and asked me if I had the like
Worksheet.
survival kit
Yeah.
to school, which is like a Dropbox that has all old tests, all the old answers, like literally any study guide you'd need. And I was like, no, I don't. How can I get it? Can I get your phone number? And he was like, I don't get my number out that easily. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay. And then 30 seconds later, he's like, actually, here you go. And then handed it to me. And then
He's like, I tried my hand at a joke there. She took it serious. And I was like, wait a
She's
second.
like, all right, never mind.
No, she thought I was being sarcastic.
I was
and
like,
liked
oh,
it.
he's sassy. Okay.
But
Yeah.
the sad part is it wasn't 30 seconds that I held off. It was like 3. I was like, oh, hold on.
Couldn't let it marinate. He was
No.
just like, no, never mind, just joking.
And then there had to have been a text exchange that wasn't, I'm here for the study guide. So
It started
we're
slow.
diving a little deeper into this story now.
Start slow.
It
and
started
then
slow. We went to Starbucks just for
Study
lunch.
date.
Yeah, actually, it was like I think this was like the 3rd day, and we just went there and talked for like 3 hours, and then she said she had to leave to go take care of her dog.
That
Did you buy her coffee is the question.
Honestly, don't remember.
what's
Probably,
Charlie's
but-
Instagram? We've mentioned Charlie twice. We need to plug him. He's got an awesome Instagram.
Charlie Dean 22.
That's right, Charlie Dean, Sir Charles Dean, I believe is what we've called him in the past.
Yes.
Yeah. He gets his own plug. Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. But yeah, I think it was. We met at the coffee shop, and then kind of transpired from there.
Yep.
Man,
Never
still been
stopped.
loving coffee ever since too.
No.
No, that was just a safe spot, man.
I thought you opened up across from a coffee shop on purpose. Anyway, so sorry, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is, after you guys get done with school, obviously there's some different options you have after you graduate from chiropractic school. You can open up your own practice, or you can go work for somebody else.
What would you guys say is the traditional route there? What do most people do? Your classmates, if you will.
I would say 75% of them go work for someone else, and 25% will try to open their own.
How many of those 25% that you know are still going?
Still going or like successful? Because I mean,
question.
you can drag it out for quite a while if you want.
They're all owner operator, I'm assuming, in this
Yeah.
instance, right?
And unfortunately, it's a, like you said earlier, it's kind of a tough profession to really build a company and be successful, whatever you deem that as. But probably into the 10 to 15%.
Good.
So.
Well, I mean, I'm glad at least half of them are, forging ahead. I mean, it's tough. So it means that out of every 10 people that graduate from chiropractic school, one of them will have a successful, private practice in the first 5 years, right? I mean, everybody can all get there eventually. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's either, learn a lot of make a lot of mistakes and learn on somebody else's dime, or have to have that risk of doing it on your own, but being further along, you know what I mean, in the future. So what was that decision like for you guys, as far as when did you kind of know that you guys wanted to go in on it together versus joining up with another chiropractic office? And also, this is the last thing, this is a separate question actually altogether, but when you're in Kansas City and you're in the same city as where the office or where the school was, you got to feel like there's going to be some saturation in the market of where your school is, right? There's a lot of chiropractors going out in the field in the same city that they all went to school in, and that's got to make it tougher, right?
You would think it did, but I think we only work on less than 10% of the population, just chiropractors in general.
Right.
So there's so many people that you can't really saturate enough.
So what she's saying is, utilization of chiropractic, and probably Johnson County or in Kansas City is a little bit higher, 10 to 12%. With that being said, though, there are a lot of chiropractors. So if you're going after that market, you're going to be fighting for patients with all of those people.
Right.
So the opportunity lies in educating people on chiropractic and how it can be different, and kind of getting people to think outside of the box instead of the box that people typically put us in.
Right.
Which is an uphill battle. It's the same thing
Sure.
that you guys deal with your business with supplement stores and how they treat their customers and how they sell to people. And trying to break that mold and really give them a good experience and a culture that they want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's when people have that preconceived notion, I'm sure it's the same for you guys, we actually invite that kind of comparison, because when you stand next to somebody who is doing something like that, or a chiropractor who's not as good as, doesn't deliver on the service that you deliver on, it makes you look that much better because there's a comparison, to have.
Yeah, you're excited for them to try out the competition because you just know that no one's
We
going
do
to
such a better job.
No one's going to out care about the client like you guys do. And like you said, like you're not in the business of selling them chiropractic and saying like, hey, let me get you on these like 5 sessions. I'm going to make you come back for this over and over again. I remember you told me that exact story, Eric.
It's about 25 sessions usually, and it's in the thousands they usually charge. The hard part is really the education and getting people to truly understand that and believe in you, because what I've learned is people don't know what they don't know. So they think that going to a doc that says, hey, you need $3,000 worth of care over 6 months, even if it's something simple, is normal. So we have to kind of break that stigma and really show them that, hey, this isn't normal. You can get better faster. We can teach you the skill sets and tools that you need to take care of yourself. But we just have to figure out how to get them in the office and show them that. And that's what we try to do through social.
That experience.
So rewinding back a little bit, what was the number one thing that made you guys want to go out on your own?
Go ahead.
I didn't want to work for someone else.
Did you guys do any kind of internship or anything to like let you really truly know that, Alyssa? Like, did you have a negative experience maybe with another boss? Maybe that made you think in your head, like, you know what, I feel like I could do this on my own better.
So the chiropractor that really like changed my mind and made me want to be a chiropractor, I did a full semester internship with him my senior year of college, and I ran his whole office because his CA, she left on maternity leave for 2 months. So I was a student running his office for free. And I was like,
that's a good deal for him.
It was a great deal for him. And it was a really good learning experience for me. So I learned how to talk to insurance companies. I learned how to talk to patients. I learned how to bring them in. I learned how to do like a new patient exam.
Oh, you had to build the schedule out and stuff too, right?
That's
so you learned how to run a business, basically.
Yeah, you ran the business.
So when we first started, I had all of that knowledge. So I was more like the background side, and he loved social media, so he could do all of the social media. But I was like, I can do this. Like, we'll be fine as long as we just are okay with asking people to pay us. Yeah. That was like his first hang up. And then I was like, no, we deserve this.
And what's the other difference here? Like asking people to pay us versus what?
Like, because you're just a new student or you're just a new doc out of school. Like, do I deserve the money yet?
Oh, you had the imposter syndrome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
How am I supposed to charge when I don't have any experience?
Exactly.
That's valid for most people.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah. There is no getting over. I always, tell people that, in any profession, it's just, there is no getting over it. You just have to do the work over and over and over again. And that builds confidence.
And I want to make this clear too. It's not fake it till you make it here situation. A lot of people use that phrase, and it's like, no. It's trust in your actual learning that you've done. And if you feel genuine and that you can genuinely help people, then go start helping people.
Yep.
And don't wait for somebody's permission.
And don't
just
feel
go
bad
start.
about it.
Exactly. The infamous like bodybuilding, because I know that you had a bodybuilding background, Eric, when we first met. And it's like the amount of people that are like, hey, I'm going to charge for coaching, after I've done a show or two. And it's like, you can talk a lot of smack on that, but at least they've done it. At least they can at least help you along the way. I'm not going to say I'm the best coach, someone's going to, but it's like the amount of people that hate on people that charge for coaching. It's like, well, when do you get the okay? Do you have to be a pro? Do you have to have done 2 shows? Like, when are you okay with it for somebody to do it? Because they didn't take it they didn't take the same route as you. There's just a lot of hate when it comes to the fitness community on that. And I'm just like, dude, when is it okay?
There is some benefit, though. I think, when you have the mixture of formal education plus experience, when those 2 things kind of merge together, that's when you have somebody that you can kind of really trust.
And I think you can charge top dollar if you're that person too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But
sure.
it's one of those things where there's a clientele out there that's looking for just got done with their first show, and they'll pay you $50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all they needed, and that's fine.
Yeah. So you guys, decided you're going to go into business for yourself.
Yep.
What's the scariest part when you guys were going through that process? Because I remember when you guys first got the space and you guys, were building it out. What was the first moment where you're like, holy shit, what are we doing?
So I just never really wanted to work for someone, and I did a lot of research on how much you can make as an associate when you get out, and it just made no sense not to just
Can I ask for the listener, what is that number that you researched?
In Kansas City, the average associate probably is making around $40,000. But
And the associate here is someone who's going to be performing chiropractic on clients underneath an owner.
Yeah, so they have a lot of times you have to kind of adhere to whatever treatment styles or techniques. Not always, but a lot of times if you are an associate and you're going to be seeing a lot of patients, working a lot of hours, you'll be doing a lot of extracurricular marketing, office work, so you're working a lot more hours, and the potential for growth is just not that great. And when you just think about, if you just ran simple numbers in your head, if you saw that many patients on your own, you would see how much you're not getting paid.
For sure.
And that already just made me want to jump into doing that. And I guess the scariest thing, honestly, is just, it's like every entrepreneur, right? Like, it's up and down every single day. And sometimes that same day is just knowing where your next, I don't want to say sale is going to come from, but when it comes down to it, if people don't come in the door, you're not making a livelihood. So knowing where your next customer, knowing where your next patient's going to come from, and then the ups and downs, because you'll have a good week, and then the next week you'll be like, well, what the hell happened? What are we going to do now?
Right, we have no appointments here, and then we have too many on this week.
And I struggle with that the most when it slows down, because I'm one of those that, like, I understand it's going to be up and down, and as long as it's trending upwards, great. But when we have a slow week, I am stressed, and Alyssa's just like, it's going to be okay. No worries.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know how she does it.
I remember
you guys are such a perfect compliment to each other on that. It's amazing. Yeah.
On the way over here, I was like, I am anxious as hell. And she's like, why? She's like, I feel like I'm not enough for you. And I was like, thank God I have you, because, like, if I didn't have you,
who would calm me down?
I was like, the problem is I just want to give ourselves a better lifestyle and provide for my family so much, and for you, that, like, man, that's making me anxious, because you are that much, actually more. So man,
that, I think for me, it's always the night before, we open a new store, or the night before the first store that we open. I remember just laying in bed and just being like, is anyone going to show up tomorrow? Like, are we literally going to make any sales? Does anybody care about
I think
what
that
we do?
about every store we open.
Yeah.
And you have to ground yourself so much. My mom the other day was like, do you remember when you were sitting at your job and you were sitting there for like 3 hours waiting for someone to come in? And I was like, I do.
Thanks, Mom.
Thank you for reminding me now. Like, life's good. I should not complain.
I remember you telling me that, like, your family's asking, like, what are you going to do if this doesn't work out? And they actually ask you, like, hey, like, what's your plan B?
I had some family members that were like, I don't know if that's a great idea, if they should open. And I was like, I wanted to have some choice words, but I was like,
that's some fuel.
You just go out there and show them, like, okay, fine, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Appreciate
for the
that support. Yeah,
business
you supported me better than what you think you did just by saying that.
Business is it's a balancing act of being grateful for where you are versus in the past, and also still being hungry. And you can't be too far on either end of those spectrums. If you're too grateful, then you become complacent. If you're too hungry, then you become, like, miserable.
100%. We literally, that's exactly the conversation we had over here, because I was saying, like, I'm so grateful. I have so many great things going on in my life right now. But I don't want to be complacent. Any successful business owner will tell you they're not complacent. There's no way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you stop growing, you sink.
You guys know Noah Olson? He's a CrossFit guy out of he's a CrossFit Games athlete, but he's got a brand that's called Happy But Hungry. And I've always loved that analogy because
Yeah.
he always is like tagging, like he's like, I'm happy, but I'm also hungry to, get better every day. And I always think about that. I love that catchphrase.
Yeah, I think complacency is hard to be self-aware to at times. I think that you tell yourself you're smelling the roses, you're telling yourself, you deserve a break, to go on a vacation, whatever. But I don't feel comfortable in those situations personally, and I try to tell myself that I need to, but you're there and you're not really there, right? Like you're on this trip, and me and Kyle have talked about it. Yeah, if we're on vacation for longer than basically 3 days, you're just like starving for your routine.
Yep.
You're starving to get back to feeling like you're making some kind of progress or growth. And I think that might be my personality type. It might just be you're an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter what it is. It just, scheduled time off is so tough.
Yeah, and if you don't take that time off, then it makes it's worse.
Yeah,
right.
It's worse.
Right.
Same thing. It's a balancing act.
We ironically, and this isn't like a plug or anything, but this is actually our 5-year anniversary today from when we opened our first location. And I was thinking on
It
that.
is a plug. No,
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking on it a lot today, And as I was thinking on it, I was thinking about all the things that, like some of the struggles we'd gone through, and looking through some old photos and fun stuff like that. And it's just like thinking about, we had no employees. We had our first employee literally, because it's fun getting into these kind of stories, because it's like you would definitely thought like, this is gonna be like, how the hell are we ever going to get through this? Our first employee was a guy who had shopped with us for years, and he had moved to Kansas City. So he was already familiar with us, loved our brand, and we knew it had to be somebody like that was going to do well for us to get started. And he was making a salary job. He was making $40,000 a year, and he was going to come work for us, starting off minimum wage, and just work his way up and be like our go-to person. We told him the stories about, district managers within our company and how much they were making. And, you can be on the very, very ground floor of this, And so he believed, and he quit, and he came over, and he helped us with our training. And yeah, it gets funny. So he helps us with our training. He helps us with building out the store, and we're paying him. And he says, hey guys, it's my last day. I'm going to go out with some friends, that from work, and we're going to have a few beers and stuff. If it's okay, I'd like to come in tomorrow morning and train, and not come in tonight. We said, of course, man, your last day, it's work, go do your thing. And so the next morning rolls around. We call him. We don't hear from him. We text him. We don't hear from him. It's like noon, right? Like he was supposed to be there at 9 a.m. It's at 12:30. I get a Facebook message, and it's our only employee. And he says, hey, man, not going to lie, got pretty fucked up last night, and lost my phone. Lost my phone in an Uber. Don't have a phone. I'm like, does your car work? He said, yeah. I said, all right, then I'll see you as soon as possible. Right? He shows up, me and Kyle talk, and we tell him, hey man, you don't have a job here anymore. And that was it.
Yep.
And it was like the hardest thing ever, because that was obviously our first guy, and we knew that he just quit his job.
Yeah.
But it was like, dude, you have this huge opportunity. We're training you to get good at this job. And not only did you not get here at 9 a.m. like you said you're supposed to, your car worked.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was a day of training,
Have
you
you
were
guys
3.5 hours late to work. What are you doing? So that was it.
Have you guys kicked around the idea of wading into the waters of having a full-time employee, an associate? Is that what you call them? You call them associates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on that for this next year.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's a step of scaling. So identity is looking at giving you guys a little bit more freedom nowadays.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that freedom can be done with whatever you'd like. But do you have aspirations? And this is some kind of jumping ahead here, but do you guys have aspirations of opening up multiple clinics at all?
Not particularly. I would rather just grow one clinic, be able to give us some time freedom, step away from that, and then work on other business avenues.
So one tangible location, but expand, and in the sense of having multiple, rooms or multiple beds, whatever you call it. I'm sorry to call it what I don't know what the name of that is.
Yeah, so it'd be just rooms or bays or whatever you want to call them.
Sure.
So, hopefully having 2 or 3 doctors, more so full-time, us 2 being part-time, more so managing, growing the business, trying to spread awareness, educate the population around here, and then transitioning to other business aspects too. So
that's super interesting.
What would you say, so when you guys are looking for an associate, what values, from a chiropractic standpoint, what values do does associate need to come to the table with to basically get a look by you guys or get hired by you guys?
The care.
Yeah, honestly, it's basic. It's treat people well. And
Be in it for the right reasons.
Yep.
It sounds
That's
like.
it. Yeah, because if you can treat people well and
We can teach you how to
be willing
adjust. That's the easiest part. It's actually caring about each patient and each individual story and wanting to make them better.
Hearing them out all the way,
Yep.
you know, actually listening to them all the way.
Yep.
Yeah, the stuff what you talked about with your diaphragm and what did you call that? What do you do to it?
He released
it. And I'm, and so we were talking about like kind of the stigmas, you know what I mean? And I know I've said some stuff to you guys like, yeah, Jeff, you don't really value chiropractic practices. And I was like, no.
Jeff needs released.
I certainly do. I certainly do, man. I got some digestion issues like crazy.
Yeah, for real.
For real though. Like I really definitely need some help. So here's my stigma. So when I worked as an hourly employee at Supplement Superstores in Springfield, Missouri, I had so many chiropractors and also customers that were regular users of chiropractors, right? And what I kept on competing with chiropractors on was just like random supplements that only they could carry because there's like a whole weird like supplement marketing. Yeah, there was this marketing tool that you can call a supplement brand only sold by doctors. Like you have to have a medical practice doctor in order to be able to sell these supplements. Like they're medical grade. And this is honestly just some marketing BS. These supplements could be sold by anybody. But because this brand is branding themselves as only sold by doctors, it gives these doctors and obviously a leg up to be able to sell these supplements. So I'm like competing with these chiropractors, and these patients are telling me like their fish oil is better than mine. And I'm like, I don't know how to sell you this, but no, it's not. Yep. You're just paying double for it. Sorry,
It's another revenue stream.
Exactly.
And I'm sure in the world of chiropractic,
exactly.
Finding another revenue stream like that is pretty enticing.
So we've got approached with multiple revenue streams like that, and that's why we choose to keep it a little bit more narrow, is because I'm not about throwing as much in there as I can to make
what else
profit.
can we make $1 on you with,
But also, I'm not a professional in knowing everything about supplements. That's what you guys were for. And it was nice having we have such a good relationship with you guys that I would rather just send them to you guys because you know way more about it because it's your daily job.
It's the same thing as when a gym is selling supplements or people ask us, "Are you guys going to start a gym?" And I'm like, that's not what I'm an expert at.
Yeah.
We're not going to throw like a little rig in the corner of our store and start charging $10 for it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so when people are asking like, we could put a little kiosk and sell supplements in here. I'm like, yeah, but you're not a supplement store.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Have you guys read the book, The One Thing?
Yeah.
They talk about that. It's like, hey, you need to figure out where your revenue comes from and what you're an expert at and just hone in on that thing. And that's what's going to make you successful. Yep. And that always has stuck out to me, every time I'll think about, different things like, oh, we could do this, we could do this.
But that's
not the one thing.
Example, like Raising Cane's, man. One thing. They sell chicken tenders. And that's it. Not even a sandwich, for God's sakes. Just tenders.
They have the best sauce.
Dude, I'm upset with Raising Cane's. They don't have ranch.
Well, yeah, ranch is bullshit. We've decided this on the last podcast.
All right. Listen here, dude. You're amongst people that love ranch. I don't even have to ask. I feel like Alyssa Phillips loves ranch dressing.
She does.
I do.
See?
On my pizza.
You know why I know that? Because Alyssa and I are real friends, and I knew that looking in her eyes, she's a ranch person. And it's right. And I'm telling you right now, dude, you lost that battle 80% to 20%.
Yeah, but I had the people that I had on my side. It was like, I had some.
I literally screenshotted somebody
that stars. Hey,
there was
hold
somebody
on.
that clearly Kyle
First of all,
disrespects, and I screenshotted, sent it to him, and said, "This person loves blue cheese. Your argument is ruined."
First of all, if you guys are having wings, would you have it with blue cheese or ranch?
Ranch. 100%.
You don't count.
Blue cheese.
Yes.
Hey, out of the two of you, who do you think knows more about food? Eric?
More about food?
Who's more of a foodie? You or Alyssa?
Not a desserty, a foodie.
I said foodie.
me about food.
Would you agree with this, Alyssa?
Yeah.
Dang it.
Because
My argument's over.
He likes to try more foods. I've gotten better, but I'm more about the dessert.
I know. Well, of course. And ranch is honestly like dessert on my pizza, for real.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just, dude. All right. So anyways, Raising Cane's doesn't have ranch. Now we're way off on food tangents like we
Just to be clear, blue cheese is a brain food. It has a positive effect on your brain's performance and overall cognitive ability. Our research shows people who choose blue cheese over ranch tend to have more sophisticated palates in general.
Could you cite that? Hey, no, go ahead and cite that source.
No.
Go ahead and
Let's
cite
not
that source.
talk about where it's from.
Yeah, no. Go ahead. Read the.
Dr. Google. That's where it's from.
No.
It was a screenshot.
It was
Anyways,
something else.
so back to chiropractic.
We've gone in on this argument, and just I'm telling you, dude, the majority of people, the world loves ranch,
That's true.
and just be okay with it.
And no, it's true. I mean, yeah, most
Do you
people.
not like it at all?
It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
What does Kim Combs prefer?
Yeah, I mean, Kim likes ranch.
I know it's in the house too. So, anyways, moving forward, I was going to ask about this. So, when people are asking you, what other things are you guys going to get into? Because I know of some chiropractors are selling like food allergen tests, and they can get into pretty much the gambit. There's so many options, and in the form of holistic health as well. And some I think have a lot of merit, and some of them are like, it's a little bit more of like a money grab feel, But what is it that maybe you guys are looking into as a potential possibility?
A lot of things, but nothing has. I'm still working on a lot of them right now. One of them I think I talked to both of you guys about too. Is going to be a hemp food company, hemp nutrition company. So dabbling into the supplement world, but then even get into the food world too. Obviously, we want to get into real estate. I think that's not going to go away. It's huge, and those are the two main ones right now. Nothing really directly in the office, though. I wouldn't be selling the supplements in there.
You wouldn't be doing the hemp products in the office now?
No, I want to scale that in a way where I can step away from that and really work on these other companies, as I think that that industry with hemp and more vegan alternatives is really growing. And I think we've seen that with tons of companies out there. Oatly is one of them that's just massive, where they do oat milk. So.
Right.
So I have a question for you as far as, if you guys hire an associate into the store or into you guys' practice, you had talked about, you guys didn't want to go work for somebody because you felt like there was a level to when, how far you could grow with them. What are you guys' specific plans to be able to basically create a culture and create a system as to where somebody can grow within it?
Yeah, I guess how far can they go with identity?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because there's going to be a lot of people that want to grow and start their own as well. And especially if you're hiring people that are extremely motivated, and this falls like with what you guys do too. But I think that lies in the opportunity for growth and what they can expect. Obviously, I want to hire someone that's a high achiever that really wants to grow and build their own personal brand. But I want to help supplement that and eventually work them into ownership of the business or profit share, which I think is the direction that most medical facilities are honestly going, even up to MDs. There's a lot of offices where they're sharing offices now. And so a group effort, building that culture, and eventually leading to profit share.
Oh, that's cool. Because I love that.
Otherwise you get stuck as an associate, and you can make good money as an associate. You can get up into the six figures, but you will cap out because your time will be capped out.
Yeah. And I think when you do that profit sharing, there's just, when you're truly motivated as an individual and you're taking ownership of the business because, you putting your stamp on the business means a lot to you, right? Yeah. Like your name and your reputation means a lot to you. Eventually you'd like that to be tied into how much you get paid. And when you get profit share and you get to see that, I think that somebody who's taking ownership now is really going to take ownership, right? And now they feel tied to how much they're getting paid based on how the actual office performs. Yep. So I think that's a home run. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I also think that there's a lot to be said for just bringing somebody in who's new and maybe doesn't have the knowledge as far as business, and being able to show them, hey man, this is how you, obviously you're great at social media. This is how you market yourself on social media. These are the type of videos that are valuable that that get people to engage with them, and I think that a lot of people out there are just, I've learned a lot of people like to have their hand held a little bit. It's not that they're incapable of doing it if you show them how to do it, but they're not gonna take the initiative on their own. And it doesn't mean they can't be successful long term. So that's awesome to hear.
We're a product of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Kyle and I got, we didn't know anything about anything. We had to be taught all of these things, and we were grateful to be taught those things on somebody else's dime while we made all these mistakes. And that's what, put us in that position. So somebody is going to have an opportunity of a lifetime to join with you guys. And that's really cool. That's super special. And that's the way you guys got to look at it, because, you guys are so seasoned now, you can walk them through all this without having to make all the same mistakes. I want to go back to that initial build out of your guys' office. Because you guys did it super uncharacteristic. For those of you listening that have not opened up your own business, you typically negotiate with a landlord, and they try to sign you up for as many years as you're possibly okay with.
20-year lease.
They'll throw anything at you to get you to sign on for longer. And so most of them start off in like the 3 to 5 year range.
No, 10.
No, I'm saying that you're going to try for that.
Oh, you're going to try for that.
You're going to try for a 1.35 somewhere in there. They're going to come at you with a 10, and to get you to sign on the dotted line for your startup. Typically, landlords will help you with the build out of your business. So most businesses are going to be in line in a shopping center. Imagine like a big blank, white box, right? Like a big blank slate, and you got to put in your own flooring and your own walls and your own paint and your own fixtures, which would be like shelving, so on and so forth, TVs, anything else you're going to put in there. It's all on you, right? And so they give you something called TI dollars, or tenant improvement allowance. You guys didn't get a whole lot of that, did you? Right, because I remember you did the entire build out yourselves.
So this is interesting to talk about. So we did not hire anyone to negotiate. We just kind of went in there and did it on our own. We went and saw quite a few locations, and this one just worked out great. The landlord was great. She was also the owner of the complex, which was incredible that she was the one showing it. She was willing to work with us. And then at the end of the day, we kind of took a page out of your book, which is, and I've learned this from you, is if you don't ask, you won't get it. So ask them in a way where it's like, this is pretty much what you have to do, otherwise it's not going to work for us. And we didn't get very much tenant improvement, so we did the floors. We had our brother-in-law, he did the painting for us, had some really good buddies who do electrical, so Lance Hack, and it was really a team effort to get everything done. And at the end, it cost a little bit more than we thought it would, just for material, and so we just asked the landlord and said, hey, this costs a little bit more, and she refunded, I think, almost 75%.
Wow. No kidding.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
so
that's not common.
No.
You're lucky you knew who the landlord was, and it was a nice lady.
Well,
usually it's just a big conglomerate that's out of Arizona, and they're like, what?
But they might have given them more TI dollars if it was a big conglomerate out of Arizona.
Correct. You might have got more up front.
So we looked around a lot, and the place really needed a lot of work. But the thing that really convinced us was how willing she was to work with us, and how well she negotiated with us. And honestly, a lot of people just don't do that. They just jump into their first location. And the thing if I were giving business advice, it would be to look around and to negotiate the best deal possible to set yourself up for success. Because I think too many people just jump in and just throw money at something.
Yeah, and how much do you guys think location matters in this? Because I think that's pertinent when you're looking around at these different spots. How visible your place is and so forth. Because you guys aren't like tucked away, but you're also not like next to a Home Depot or something. You know what I mean?
So for us, I wasn't super concerned with visibility, just because we're more of a destination place.
For sure.
People aren't just driving by and be like, oh,
referral based. No one's just,
Yeah.
you know what, that looks like a good
Just stop
chiropractor.
in there.
Yeah, let's swing by.
So what sold us obviously was the deal. We worked with the landlord, but also just the location off 435 and 69. Mm-hmm. You can get anywhere. I mean, downtown's 15 minutes.
I love your guys' location. Yeah.
Super easy to get to.
And so I remember, we were at your guys' grand opening party. I don't know if it was like the initial grand opening, but just the party itself. And, it was cool to see, because we were just getting started as well, And so it was just cool to see kind of these other businesses helping each other out. The prizes that were given, like the attendance prizes for being at your guys' party. I just remember all the different ones there, and they all had some kind of a tie, some kind of a connection. And I'm sure you're still friends with all those people today. And it's just special. It's cool to see people helping each other out. who are all genuinely trying to do good things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know, all the businesses that were supporting you that day, remember, we're all just damn good people first, you know?
And that's what we need more of, honestly, to speak on that, and specifically to like Caleb, who you had on the podcast earlier too.
Caleb Blankenship from The Body Shop.
Yep. Yeah. So Caleb came to me, and I've talked to him multiple times about business, and he was saying he was looking for a location. I was like, you need to look in our location. You can talk to the landlord. You'll get a great deal. It's affordable, easy to get to, easy access. And I mean, man, he's doing great.
Yeah.
Like incredible.
Yeah, they're expanding. Yeah,
So
excited to watch their expansion fully happen. I know they're still waiting on some stuff, but
what would you
cool.
So if anybody that was listening that maybe interested in starting their own chiropractic practice, what's your guys' best advice to those people? What was the biggest roadblock, or what was the most difficult part getting off the ground in the beginning?
I'll let Alyssa go, and then I'll answer mine. So go ahead.
Selling myself. That was my hardest part.
Yeah.
Like, he was able to go to gyms and talk to people, and I was just too shy about it. And then as the more like I've built my confidence in my passion, I'm now just selling myself just by talking, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Alyssa's an incredible doctor, though. Honestly, she's much better than I am, and she works with it. I just say that honestly. And she does such a great job that she doesn't have to do anything anymore, which is incredible. She works primarily with prenatal care and pediatric care, and they absolutely love coming in, and it's because she does such an incredible job. So
that's awesome. You so what I mean, was it just over time? Was it just working with people and having those conversations and seeing people come back feeling better that was building that confidence?
Yes. Well, just taking everything that I had learned, and then it actually works.
Yeah.
Which is so fascinating.
Yeah.
And then the more I did it on more patients, the more I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing.
I get it. Yeah. It's starting to click. Yep.
I was like, I can do this. And then
it's icing on the top that she's just so passionate about that specific area too, that
I love women's
keeps her
care.
going.
Just women's care in general.
I think that, we talk about that a lot as far as with personal training too, is that people get into, a lot of people want to, make sales seem like it's a dirty word, or act like my job's not a sales position. And I'm like, no matter what you're doing, you're going to have some aspect of sales going on. If you're a chiropractor,
if money's exchanging hands, happens.
You're selling. You're selling. Yep. Same thing with personal trainers. Same thing with chiropractors. Anybody that's a professional, you have to sell your services at some point. So,
and then it comes back to, do you think you're worth it?
Yeah.
But if you, at the end of the day, if you feel like you're helping someone and you're doing the best to help them, it's worth it.
If you're, and I want to say that, Eric, in our previous conversations, that was like one of the harder things for you, was putting yourself in that position of having to ask, hey, this is what we need, like when you're giving somebody kind of like, not a diagnosis, if you will, maybe like a prescription, in the sense of, hey, I'm prescribing you, 10 more sessions or 5 more sessions to really work this problem all the way through.
Yeah.
How have you adjusted with that? As the career has gone on, with feeling comfortable in those situations of having to be one-on-one with somebody and saying, hey, I know you think in your expectations this was going to be done in one session. It'd be unprofessional of me to tell you that, and it's like, it's such a hard, because people's expectations, that's really, someone comes into my store and they think they can get a good protein for $10, and I'm like, that's just not real. I don't know how else to tell you.
We always make the joke that it's the Amazon treatment. You come in once and in 2 days you'll be fixed. So, but I definitely still struggle with that. I think it's only because we still have that stigma with that. When you go into an office, they're automatically going to tell you it's 24 or 36 visits, and that's not unheard of. That's honestly, I've had patients come in that say that's what they were prescribed. And I think the thing that helps you get over it is you just got to be brutally honest with yourself and with the patient on what the expectations are for recovery. And it's not a problem with like physical therapy. When you go to physical therapy, it takes a certain amount of time to develop strength and to really feel well. And we practice a lot like physical therapists in a sense that we do a lot of manual therapy, but then we also try to do a lot of rehab. So if we expect you to get better long term, and for this to stay away, it's going to take some effort. And just getting brutally honest with ourselves and being able to just portray that and say, hey, it takes time to develop strength. You've been having this problem for 6 months. It's not going to go away in 2 visits. We've really got to work through this. And then getting them bought in that the more that they can do, the less likely they're going to have to see you that often.
Right. And how did you guys come up with your actual price that you would have somebody come in for? Let's say I'm signing up for a visit, right off the street, coming in, you're going to, I don't know, adjust me. What is that? Not what is that price, but how did you guys come up with that number? Because that's tough as a first-time business owner, and you're not selling a tangible product. In this instance, you're selling your service, and you haven't sold your service yet, on your own. So it's just how did you guys come up with that number? That's a tough thing to do.
So I'm sure Alyssa, she probably went off of the office you worked at, correct?
Yep.
But also, I think you can look up kind of the average cost of services in your area for chiropractic specifically and kind of base it on that. And I would say when we first started, we were way undervalued. And I honestly still think we're severely undervalued for what we do in terms of the amount of time we spend with people. Because at a lot of offices, you'll get 5 to 10 minutes max.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. And for that amount of time, they're still going to charge you almost $50.
Right.
And for us, spending 25 to 30 minutes on average with rehab and stuff like that, we're not charging that much more. And that's the only downfall about chiropractic is that some of the people that do make the most money are spending very little time with their patients and having them come in more often. So they have the ability to charge a little bit less.
They know the game, if you will, and take advantage of it more or less.
The insurance game, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Insurance, and then it's just going back to it, circling back, that people don't know what they don't know. So if this is normal, to come in for
that's
10,
their normal.
Yeah, that's their normal. And when they do come to our office, because we've had multiple come from other offices, and they see the amount of time and care and compassion that we put into one single visit, they'll tell us that they feel significantly better after one visit than they did after 20 in another office.
Unheard of, yeah. That's unreal.
It's just a little bit more attention to detail.
And that's if you're somebody who's going into business for themselves, and you have imposter syndrome, like many of us have all had, and you probably still do at times. You just think in your head, you have that little bit of self-doubt that creeps in, and you don't know really what to charge. The one thing that it's funny, when you're talking about pricing, you can come across hesitant on wanting to ask for the sale or ask for money from somebody. But when you talk about hey, how are you compared to your competitors? It's all of a sudden the real you comes out, right? Everybody gets all of a sudden competitive, and you start saying oh, I know I'm better than this. I try way harder. We care way more. We put in way more effort. And then it's all right, then why don't you price yourselves like that?
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's where I want everybody who's listening to really think about that. How would you really compare yourself to your competitors? Well, what do they charge? And you better make sure that you're priced accordingly. And don't be afraid to charge more if you're giving more, because you're going to run yourself into the ground when you start a business, and it doesn't matter what that business is, and it better be worth your time.
100%.
I want to know who inspires you guys. So from a business standpoint or from a life standpoint, who do you think, who would you point to as being the biggest inspiration you guys have?
You want me to go on that one?
Yeah.
I think mine's always been the same person. It would be my grandfather. Well, actually, both my grandparents, honestly. Absolutely love them. They're the best people in the world. But when you talk to them about their story and what they did, they were married at 18 and 17, had 2 kids by 20 years old, didn't have a lot of family support, weren't very well off financially. And when you talk to them about their life story of raising kids with little money and how they got to where they are now, they aren't wealthy by any means, but they lived a really great life and raised a great family with my mom and my family. And I talked to my grandpa multiple times about that. He had 4 or 5 moms when he was growing up. 2 of them passed away from cancer when he was really young, so no real mother figure. His father was abusive, and he was married young, so he didn't really have either of a positive role model. And when they had their 2 kids, he was working full-time, going to school full-time, while my grandma was trying to work full-time, altering schedules. And we complained about being busy and having one job and no kids. And he just did it. And when I asked him, I was like, well, how'd you do that? And he's like, well, we just did what we had to do. And that really resonated with me, because I feel like a lot of people, they just want the simple fix, quick fix, or they don't want to put in the effort.
You look at other people's, better situations and say why it should just be me, and they should feel entitled to it.
Life's getting easier, and people are getting more and more unhappy.
Yeah, and so
and more lazy.
Yeah, and he put in the effort, and he worked his way up to central office in the Kansas City, Kansas school district, and has had a great job, great career, raised a great family, and it was just simply because that's what he had to do for his family.
That's freaking awesome.
He didn't complain about it at all. Like, I'm sure they were tired. I'm sure they were worn out. I'm sure they didn't.
That's the greatest generation for a reason.
Yeah. They didn't know what the hell they were doing raising 2 kids at 20 years old. Like,
yikes.
There was there's a stand-up comedian named, I think his name's Gary Goldman, but he talked about, talk about the greatest generation and his grandparents and stuff. He's like, he got drafted into World War II. He's like, I can't even tolerate a cold air draft. He's like,
the truth though.
He's like, you open up 2 consecutive doors. He's like, I'm out of the room. He's like, it's freezing in here.
The problem I think now is there's just so much opportunity, and it's the access to everything is so much easier. That we expect it to be simple now.
Yeah,
but it's still not. It's still not. You still have to put in some effort.
You're right.
Do.
You know, I mean,
it's easier, but
no matter what happens, no matter what technology changes, no matter what goes on in the world, you'll always have to be doing more than your peers if you want more than your peers.
Yeah.
And so, yes, some people are, there's going to be some kind of get-rich-quick person that nails something, that comes out with an app or whatever it may be. But you'll always have to be doing more than your peers if you want to do more than your peers. You know what I'm saying?
It relates to that story where they said if you took all the money from the millionaires in the world and distributed it evenly, the people that become millionaires again are going to be the ones that were before.
They would accumulate.
They're gonna become millionaires again.
Yeah. And the people that didn't aren't going to have any money
left.
Yep.
What about you, Alyssa?
Who's my biggest influence?
Or inspiration?
Bogey.
I mean, he's made it 15 years. That's pretty inspirational.
So my parents and family had never gone to college, so I was the first one to go to college. So I kind of just was like, I'm going to inadvertently, it was kind of my parents just steered me to a direction, like I need to take care of myself. And I just wanted to have time for my children when I have them. And then, like, my parents didn't have a lot of time for me. They didn't have enough money, so I paid for my undergrad. I paid for college or chiropractic school, and I've paid for everything ever since. So I kind of drove myself and just wanted to make sure that I made the life that I wanted and not just something, like I had a great childhood, but I just wanted something better.
No,
that makes sense.
They influenced you for sure. You know what I mean? That's awesome. Now, on a much less serious note, we ask this question at the end of every one of our podcasts. It's okay if you guys haven't listened to an episode before, but we have asked this.
They've listened to every single one, front to back.
Oh, then you guys know what this question is.
You guys know what this question is. Come on.
We knew
Son of a.
I've only listened to, like, I think it was 3/4 of Caleb's.
Nice. Yeah.
This is a good one.
I forgot his answer. Yeah, I thought his was very good, man. His was moving. We ask this at the end of every podcast, and that is just because we're all living here in Kansas City, and most people that listen are going to be from Kansas City. What's the best barbecue here?
Q39.
This is a tough question.
I know.
And Joe's is good.
Well, it just depends
on what
you're
you're in the mood for.
Thank you. What are you in the mood for? What kind of barbecue do you want?
Well, what's
the best? Do you know what the best barbecue in St. Louis is?
I want the best Sugar Fire.
No, it's
Pappy's?
No.
What?
4 hours west of St. Louis.
Oh, that's right. That's a great question. Oh, that's a Kansas Cityan right there.
I
was like, Sugar Fire is pretty good barbecue, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was like, it's either Pappy's or Sugar Fire. I'm giving like legit answers.
So in Kansas City, what's the best barbecue for real though? Well, you had to choose one. You're going to one restaurant. Where's Eric Phillips going? You're going to one restaurant for one thing.
Oh man, it's gonna make me sound really uppity, but I do like Q39 just because I like their sandwiches.
Oh yeah, the
Dude,
Mr. Burns.
Call me uppity, man. I've been Q39 every episode. We talk about it. See, I have an Airbnb.
The Z-Man's pretty good though.
Staying with me, and they just asked me what barbecue they should go to, and I was like, yeah.
It's just the unique flavors that they have in their sandwiches. Okay, but if you're going for like straight up barbecue, there's a lot of barbecue places you could go to.
They're all fantastic.
Yeah, they're just all a little different.
We just had Abby Fish, who owns All Sizes Fitness, newly A2 Fitness. She was on our episode last week, and she said Q39, but not for the things that we would all like think. She was talking about their wings being the best wings. Man. And if you haven't had their wings, oh my God.
I don't think we have.
We haven't had their wings.
On the menu, they're called the best damn wings on the planet.
Yeah, you know what my problem with it is? I saw someone get those, right? And this is the fat kid in me. Yeah. And they came out, and there was like maybe 6 of them, and it was like $15. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna need at least like 3 orders of those.
Yeah, but
But now I'm gonna try 'em.
Best-
from an actual fat kid know that the Q39 wings come like breaded
Yeah.
with their barbecue sauce or whatever. They are like an entire meal per wing. I mean, they
No.
are dense ass
okay.
wings.
Yeah, they're okay.
Kyle,
I'll have to try them now.
they're the best damn
We'll
wings on
start
the
a food
planet,
podcast
Kyle.
now.
Jack Stack wings are
Trademarked.
better than Q39 wings.
Totally different wing. They're dry
about-
rub versus
They're
sauced
bigger.
and breaded.
There's more food. They have blue cheese.
This is gonna be kind of maybe frowned upon because this isn't a barbecued restaurant, but Johnny's Wilson wings
Dude, they're phenomenal. I love them.
with their blue cheese because it's homemade.
Yeah,
Their
Wilson.
ranch is really good too.
Yeah, they
Oh,
have
man,
homemade
here we
ranch.
go back to ranch.
Hey, but Wilson's wings at Johnny's Tavern. Those are a good shout out. They're great. But like you were saying, like totally different wing. One's breaded, one's dry rubbed, one's naked. You know what I mean? Like it's just deep fried wing at Jack Stack.
It's delicious.
But Q39s are breaded. I mean, dude, I love I love Jack Stack.
Jack Stack's
wings.
really good, though, too.
They're called desert kissed wings at Jack Stack, I believe.
You are a fat kid.
I know. Yeah, I'm all about it.
So maybe a question a little bit more up Alyssa's alley would be what specific what's your favorite dessert?
I knew it.
Sorry, Jeff's the king of getting me distracted about wanting to ask something.
If you're looking for like the cheapest ice cream cone, Quick Trip, 49 cents.
Wow, a quick
How much
trip.
does it cost?
That's
for
only
2?
throughout summer.
Quick Trip's
Again, I'll
$1.08.
interject.
No, it's all the time.
Yeah.
What?
You choose the wrong Quick Trips then.
on State Line Road?
Yes.
I know which one you go to.
It's $1.08 for 2 because
Yes.
the dogs need one.
Yeah, of course.
I got the dogs one too.
But okay.
But
we got-
my favorite ice cream,
no, your favorite dessert.
favorite dessert.
Well, she already said it's
Oh,
ice cream at this point.
It's for
Yeah.
sure ice cream.
I think I can name it.
Andy's frozen custard.
No.
Over Betty Ray's?
No, I'm going with a
Betty Ray's.
restaurant dessert.
Oh.
You're going for dessert.
It's-
Summit
Yeah.
Grill's s'mores cake.
yeah.
Whoa,
That's the one.
Freaking amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Tell us about the s'mores cake. I've never had it.
It has like melted marshmallow across the top, graham cracker, chocolate, and vanilla ice cream. It's super.
So is it actually like a slice of something? It's an
Yes,
actual
it's
cake?
a slice of cake.
And they toast the marshmallow and it's dripping down and warm and
Oh no.
Dude. Yeah. And there's graham cracker in the thing?
It's the crust.
So
Oh, shit.
diabetes.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds indulgent. That sounds heavenly. Do you guys
Okay.
ever been to that place? There's like one last thing I'll say. There's that place that's in Prairie Fire. It's like it was like made specifically for dessert, and it was just I think called maybe just indulgence or something like that. And they had like the most ridiculous looking desserts. Like I thought
it was
they
that
had.
or like I Am or something like that. I can't remember what the
Where
name
is
of that
this
was.
at? I'm not.
Prairie Fire?
It was
Well,
in-
I know where Prairie Fire's at,
There
but
was-
I'm trying to think of
it might
what,
have
what
been
that.
it was
Corbett
called-
Park.
It was called Decadence,
Oh.
and it was in Prairie Fire, and they had like you could make your own cookie ice cream sandwiches. Of course, we've all seen that, but it was something really unique. Like it was something super fat kid. Like it was like a milkshake with like a whole piece of cake in it, and you got to pick your piece of cake or something. But
there's a point. There's a point
Next
of
day
diminishing
night. Sounds like too
return.
much.
Yeah.
next date night, whenever you get a craving of some sort, maybe go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys want to leave everybody with? Is there any other thing you want to cover while you guys are here? Want to talk about where your location's at or what your handles are on social media?
Yeah, let's give you guys some plugs here.
Some plugs.
Located at 69 Highway and 435, so 103rd and Maston. My social media is ePhillips13. The business one is just Identity Chiropractic.
Can't miss it.
Yeah.
It's a fingerprint is the logo. So if you guys see that, that's them.
So that's good to talk about, but we can talk about that some other time too.
What, the fingerprint?
Yeah.
You don't love the fingerprint?
No, I do like that.
Yeah, I
That's
love it
what- It represents a lot of why, like our mission or what we stand for in our business.
Well, let's end on that. I think that's a perfect way to end.
So, fingerprint obviously unique to each and every individual. We really felt that healthcare was transitioning away from that and not treating people as individuals. You're more of a number. Hey, this is what's going on. This is what we do for you. And we really wanted to bring back personalization to healthcare and truly listen to people, get to know their stories, why they're having their problems, and give them a solution that is tailored to them, which is what we should be doing in healthcare.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing. And obviously, like, what could be more individualized than a fingerprint?
yep. And then identity plays in that too. So
Yeah.
it's your own personal health identity, and that's what we're focused on. So
Beautiful.
Cool.
Anyways, if you guys got any kind of value out of this podcast, do us a favor. Please give it a share. We completely rely on you guys to share up the podcast and get people listening to it. If you know of others that, enjoy physical health or fitness or wellness in Kansas City area, please share them our podcast. And if you haven't already, give some love to Eric and Alyssa Phillips. Go visit their chiropractic office and give them some love on social media.
Get released.
That's right.
Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank
Thank you for having us.